And welcome to the BigCeaz Show, episode 12. And today we have an awesome guest who is also a big, huge Florida Panthers fan. But not only is he a Florida Panthers fan, he loves his New York Yankees, his the New York Giants, and he loves wrestling. Here is an awesome person that I met on X who has an incredible story, incredible journey that he's going through. And he's going to talk about his life story and how it started, his love for sports, and his passion for the Florida Panthers as well, and what he continues to do and overcome throughout his life. Here we have none other than the one and only Dylan Kaplan. Dylan, welcome to the BigCeaz Show. How you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. It's good to have you on. Man, it's been a crazy year so far. Panthers back-to-back Stanley Cup champions, 3 Stanley Cups in a row.
Yep.
How great does that feel?
It feels great, especially when I remember going in 2011, 2012 as a Devils fan.
No
Oh,
way.
yes.
So you're more of like that North New York area region fan, right?
Yes. Well, I'm no longer a Devils fan because right
Okay.
after that's the year the Devils made the Stanley Cup final. Right after that, instead of giving money to my favorite player, Zach Parise, they gave the money to Ilya Kovalchuk. Parise left to join the Minnesota Wild, and 2 seasons later, I believe it was two, Kovalchuk left and went back to Russia, and the Devils were terrible and still haven't been great
They've been
since.
irrelevant since. And I remember that year
Yes,
they played the Florida Panthers and it went to overtime, remember? And I remember that game very, very well. John Madden ended up leaving the game with like a busted eye. It was
yeah,
just busted teeth. And then
I was at the game.
he literally came back into the game. His face is all puffed up, man. Nothing like hockey playoffs, right? A guy gets busted up in his face, and he's like, you know what? I don't care. I'm gonna come right back. And he came back in the game. Man, I was literally on pins and needles in that game, but you guys edged it off. And so
That was.
talk about that your fandom on how did you become a Florida Panther fan?
Funny enough, uh, I went to two Panthers games earlier that year,
Okay.
which were the first ever hockey games I ever went to.
Oh wow. Okay. So your
Yeah,
first hockey game ever was against
was
the Florida Panthers.
no, it was a Panthers versus Islanders game.
Oh. Okay. Okay.
Yes,
And what made you go? What made you go to that game?
me, I we had moved down from New York to Florida, and I was struggling making new friends. And my dad's like, I was like to my dad, "Can we go to a hockey game?" Because the the Marlins were, yeah, you know, the Panthers were having success. A New York team was coming down. I was like, I ended up cheering for the Panthers because they were doing really well, and I'm a Devils fan, so I don't like the Islanders. Um, I I like the Panthers. They were doing great. They had guys of similar names like Fleischman, Bergenheim.
Man, those names bring back some memories. And I
Yeah.
remember that year when I almost said Bill Zito, Dale Talon ended up just creating a whole new roster. I believe he brought in like 14 new players:
Mhm.
Gregory Campbell, Thomas Fleischman, Bergenheim, John Madden. Those players, right? And
Mhm.
just trying to change the culture here in Florida, trying to get that winning mentality, and it worked. We had a successful season. Ended up going to the playoffs that year.
Yeah. Who was
That's
the goalie was Theodore, right?
yes, Jose Theodore. Oh, Man, he was
He's
like he
terrible.
was like up and down, right? He would have like really good games, and then all of a sudden he'd
Yeah,
be the streakiest goalie ever, and
yeah.
he would let like these easy goals, and then would make these incredible saves. So yeah, I remember too well Jose Theodore, and man, it just a lot of great memories then. Let's kind of go back a little bit here, Dylan. Let's go back to when you were a kid. Um, what 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 gave you that passion of sports? Tell us a little bit about you growing up.
Um, my uncle from my aunt, who's from my mom's side, lived in New Jersey. My uncle took me to a Nets game, a New Jersey Nets game, and I have the bobblehead. It's in my storage unit in Florida, actually, right now. I don't have it with me, but it was Jason Kidd's. I went to Jason Kidd's first game with the New Jersey Nets,
Wow,
and I believe I was like 5 or 6 at the time, and I really enjoyed going. I enjoyed
nice.
going to sporting events every time I went. My dad had a friend um, that that worked with another. He worked for this company called Northern Services. My dad worked for this company that was called Northern Services Group, and another company they worked with. He had a friend that worked for that. I forgot what the company's name was, but they always got courtside tickets. So I got to sit courtside for a couple of games, and I enjoyed sitting courtside for basketball, which was nice. Won the game during. There were a couple times during warmups where when this is when I was like 5 or 6,
Yeah.
I'd ask, I'd ask kid for like I never got his signature. I asked him for his signature, and he's like, "I'll come back to you and give it to you." Never did.
Oh man.
Yeah, bunch
I,
of times. Guy was a. I don't want to say the word, but
okay, it's all right.
he's a.
There's
I'll say it. He's a dick.
well, there's some athletes that are
Yeah.
really good people, and there's some athletes that aren't, and it's sometimes it's a little bit sad to see, especially with you know you wouldn't have the fame if it wasn't for the fans, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's a lot of athletes that do respect, and this is kind of why I love hockey, right? Hockey
Yeah.
players are probably the nicest athletes in the world.
I've
No
met
matter, go
I've
ahead.
met hockey I've met hockey players, I've met football players, I've met baseball players, I've met basketball players, and I've met wrestlers. Hockey players are probably the nicest. Then I would say probably baseball players. Then
Okay,
I would say wrestlers, and I'd put basketball players last.
okay,
Yeah.
wow. No, now let's kind of talk a little bit about where were you born?
I was born in Englewood, New Jersey.
Okay, so New Jersey area, New York area, kind of in that area, and you became kind of like a New York fan. I
Mm-hmm.
see there that you're a Wayne Gretzky and a Derek, or what is it? New York
Derek
Yankees,
Jeter,
Derek Jeter, right? He's one of your favorites.
all
Um,
time.
talk, talk about your love for the Rangers, or at least Wayne Gretzky and the New York Yankees.
Um, I Gretzky's just a very special player. Like there was nothing like watching him. Like it was actually like to me, he's still the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
There's no one else like him. Yeah, Ovechkin beat him, but I don't believe they were playing 82 games when Gretzky was around. Am I right? I don't think they were playing 82 games a season.
I don't. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to go back and see. But it was a different style of play. Like back
Yeah.
then, people would be, or the players would be able to hit a lot more. It was a lot
Mhm.
harder to score back in those days, right?
Mhm.
So scoring was a premium back in those days. And now, literally, where you can get like any penalty, and Ovechkin, his bread and butter was the power play.
Mhm.
And that's something that, can't take away from him. He's one of the greatest of all times. But I think you're right. I think Gretzky is probably still the greatest of all time.
Because
Uh,
the physicality of the
yeah,
play back then.
yeah, yeah, exactly right, 100%. Um, Another great player who ended up playing for the New Jersey Devils and who's one of the best, none other
Yager.
than Jaromír Jágr. Talk about your moment of meeting Jaromír Jágr.
This is the funniest thing. So I knew um I won passes. I was a season ticket holder. I believe it was I believe the exact years was 2014 to 2016.
Yep.
And the season and when I won the passes, I met one of the guard I met who ran like the pass area said, "Hey, you're like one of the most behaved people we've ever had here." So anytime I wanted to come down, he would let me come down and meet the players and get stuff signed. So every time I went to a game, because I was going between at this time I wasn't living full time at my parents' house. I was going to school in Gainesville and Orlando in Orlando.
Okay.
Um, I believe I was going to school in Orlando at this point, actually, at UCF. I I I would go down and I'd meet Luongo, Huberto, Campbell, Bugstad, Barkov, Olson.
All those players. Yeah.
Never
Nice.
met Yager. He would wait till everyone left. So I guess this one time he came out and he I got him. He got him to sign the jersey. That I needed. I have this jersey, but the whole team except him that was signed, except by him, and I believe it was the guy we got from the Oilers or the Kings or the
Okay.
Senators. I forgot. It was one of the guys with a weird name we got. We traded for at the deadline that year. I forgot his name, but I got Yager to sign that jersey, and it's only missing one name. So
Oh, that's so cool. That's so cool. And yeah, it's crazy that you say that you got to meet all those players during that time, the 2016-2015 season, because that was the same time that me and Shauna were able to meet the players as well. Gary was the security guard
Gary, yep,
downstairs. And
Gary, that's who it was.
yes, he was actually a really good friend of mine, and he lived down the street here in Plantation, and he would also get me and Shauna to meet the players downstairs. And this was when the team wasn't that great. They were starting to come up and getting better and better. But Gary was a great person, had a really kind heart, and would let us always go down there after the games and get to catch up with the players. We also got an opportunity to meet Luongo, Huberto, with my little brother, and I remember my little brother, we went down there one time and he would like ask Ekblad and Gabranson, "Can I touch your beard?" And they literally let him touch their beards. I thought that was one of the greatest things ever. But it just goes to show you how great hockey players are. For them to interact with the fans afterwards and stuff was truly amazing. And it's unfortunate. I believe Gary passed away this year from a
He
heart
did.
attack. Yeah.
Oh,
But he will always be remembered to be from the kind of his heart to for those special fans like you and I to meet the players. And I thought that was such an awesome thing for him to do. And we got to meet so many great players during that time, and it was definitely awesome. Um, so kind of talking to how when did you move to Florida? How did you move to Florida?
2011. I actually flew down and met my grandparents down there.
Okay. Is
Me,
there a
my sister, and
specific
brother.
reason why you moved to Florida?
My mom, she was run over by a car when she was 13,
Oh
and
no.
yeah, so the weather was better for her. She spent most of the winters in bed. So
Well, I'm so sorry to hear that.
yeah,
And talk about your journey. Um, and not only you not only are you a big sports fanatic, but you had a scary incident a few years ago
mhm,
where you got hit by a car in a car, or you were involved in a car accident.
mhm.
And talk about that moment when you were involved in a car accident. What happened and what are
Yeah.
you going through?
So in July of 2023, I was driving home from work. I actually, after work, stopped and pulled over at the airport to sleep in the Uber parking lot for a couple hours because I had been Ubering all week before work and then training for um, my job. So basically, I've been Ubering in the morning and then working from 5 to 10. So I'd been Ubering all day before that and then going straight to work for training for my new job. My new job, I was going to get paid like $20 an hour and then get a bonus of $1,000 every month for great customer service. They said they were going to take 10 of my calls every month, and if they were good, they were going to give us $1,000 bonus every month. So, but I was driving. I then decided to try to drive home, and as I was driving home, I was in my neighborhood, literally a mile from my house, and I fell asleep again. Luckily, someone was following me, I guess, from the airport, um, and I fell asleep, and I guess I, I fell asleep, and right before I crashed, I woke up, but it was too late to hit the brakes. I I was hitting the brakes, and it was too late, and I crashed.
Wow. So you were heading from work, going back home after a long day of work, and you just happened to just fall asleep at the wheel. And when you woke up, it was too
Just
late.
I went to
Accidentally hit.
slam the brakes. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Oh man, that's crazy. So what ended up happening? I do see here they took some X-rays. Now is this a picture of
My
your
spine.
back, your spine?
Yeah.
So it broke. Um,
Yeah, yeah. There's a fracture. They say it's not a complete. It's not a complete. It's a I forget what they call it. I think it's called a. It's not called a complete fracture because I'd be dead. Um, I have to get back to you with what it's called, but I know
okay.
this is it fixed. The surgeon did a great job putting it back together, but it was a fracture at T12L1 of the. They do think there is a chance that I can walk again, but we're just gonna. It's a waiting game. And just a lot of rehab, a lot of physical therapy. I'm gonna try and get a paralysis bike, hopefully in a little bit. So I'm working on that so I can move something to work out my legs. Because right now I have nothing moving my legs all day besides my wheelchair, just moving it up and down. But I need something that cycles them. Like,
Right, to get them moving and get the blood
yeah,
circulating and stuff like
yeah.
that. Yeah. Now, going back to that moment when you woke up, and you got into that accident, do you remember anything that happened prior to that, during it?
I remember, I remember the feeling. of I remember the feeling of losing the feeling in my legs, like of it going.
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I'm paralyzed. Like, like that. Like, but the one thing I do remember for the whole week after is banging on a guy banging on the window to get in my car because if I didn't let him in, I had to reach. Sorry, I didn't mean to put it there. I had to reach across my body with a fractured back. And by the way, I had 11 of 12 ribs broken. Um, and I also had what was it called? A infected gallbladder, but that was unrelated to the accident. Um, we found that out when they went in to do. I had a punctured liver. What's it called? They had to remove 80% of my liver.
Wow.
Yeah, it was bleeding and internal bleeding. So that already regenerated already, which is good. But the worst part of it, because I didn't feel anything when I went to reach across my body, but if I didn't let the guy in when I did, the battery sliced through the car where the car was about to go on fire.
Oh my God. So
And
was this
then,
person a medic or firefighter
no,
or
just
just a
a
civilian?
guy following me. He thought I was drunk.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. But
My
you didn't drink. You weren't drinking. You weren't under
no,
the
no,
influence.
no,
Okay.
no, I wasn't. The I don't drink and drive. I barely ever drink anyway.
That's good to hear.
I don't believe in drinking and driving.
That's good to hear.
Um, I I don't remember anything from a week after the accident. I don't I don't remember being in the I passed out after I let the guy in, but they I woke up once the ambulance got there and everything. I don't remember the ambulance ride when they were gonna airlift me. They were gonna airlift me to the hospital because it was like 7 or 11 miles. Um,
Wow.
they didn't airlift me. They ended up driving me, but they were I don't remember being in the emergency room. I don't remember waiting for back surgery. Um, I had hallucinations for like 2 weeks after. My dad said when they were taking me in for surgery for my liver, I said, if anything happened to me, take care of my cat. If anything happens to me, take care of my cat. I don't remember saying that.
Wow.
I remember the hallucinations, but I don't remember any of that.
Talk about who
And
was
then
who was there for you as far as this happened in New Jersey, correct?
this happened in Florida.
Oh, in Florida. So this was after you
Yeah,
moved to Florida.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Um so where were you living in Florida?
Orlando.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just, I just don't. I guess in my mind, it's just blocking. Doesn't want me reliving it. Like if I ever come back down to Florida, I just want to drive to the spot and see if it comes back to me of
Is,
where it happened.
is that something you're wanting to do or is that something that you just that you
Like I
think
know exactly where it happened.
okay.
It happened in my neighborhood where I live. My
Right.
dad and brother got an alert on the phone because I had an Apple AirTag in my car, and my phone alerts them too. You know, if you're now the iPhones do that. They alert if there's a car accident, and the AirTags do that too.
I had no idea. That's pretty cool. That's
Yeah,
pretty cool. So they knew exactly that.
they were the first ones there before the cops and the fire department.
Wow. Wow.
They were there with that other guy. Yeah.
Now, obviously you don't remember during the surgery and what's going on. But that civilian, do you still keep in contact with him, and have you met him afterwards?
I don't remember anything with him. I don't see his name in the report or anything. I don't
Wow.
remember. I
Yeah.
remember the. I don't. My back pain wasn't. I don't remember being in back pain because my rib pain was so bad. Like, you break one rib, that's terrible.
I've had several broken ribs my whole life, so
Yeah,
I totally
yeah.
understand. Yeah.
Imagine 11 of 12. I didn't want to get
Yeah.
out of bed. Every time they came to do therapy to get me up
It
at the
must have been
hospital,
excruciating. Oh,
they
can
lifted
imagine.
me out of bed, and I was like, "Oh no, 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 no! Please put me back!" I was like crying for them to put me back. Like
Wow.
I've never been in so much pain in my entire life.
Wow, that's incredible, Dylan. Wow, it's crazy. This you literally had a guardian angel just following you that night, and
My mom and my
um,
grandmother and grandfather.
that's amazing. And for that civilian, I mean, if he wasn't there, who knows what would have happened, right? It's
Yeah,
just amazing. Man, it's such an inspiring story, and kind of talk about what you've been dealing with these last couple of years with this injury. What
yeah.
emotions, physically and
So
mentally, how have you been dealing with it?
yeah, so I went. The first thing is not being able to walk. I'm paralyzed below the waist. Um, I also wasn't able to use the restroom control when I was had to use the restroom. Um, they ended up putting a suprapubic catheter in instead of me urinating through the penis. I do it through a catheter that goes right directly to my bladder that has
Okay,
to get changed every month. It has to get changed every month. I also have an ostomy bag because I have for the last year I've been battling a pressure sore. Um, it was the size of my fist, like it was bigger. You don't want to see pictures of it. It's right
no,
where it's right where my tail. I'm sure you've probably dealt. Have you dealt with one of those before, a pressure sore?
yes, I've had
Yeah.
it did not fun at all.
No, yeah. I had a stage 4. It went all the way down to my coccyx, and they said it should be healed in 2 to 4 months, 2 months, 2 to 3 months. And I've been dealing with it since last June.
Wow.
Technically since last January when I moved here in December because the insurance company gave me a crappy mattress, and that's when we didn't bring our furniture up yet, and I was stuck on just a mattress, and that's how I got the pressure sore. And it was a stage 1. It's I don't want to explain the whole thing with the pressure
No,
sore,
no,
but
no, of course not. But
I've been dealing with it a whole.
so,
It's a terrible thing.
so where are you living now? So the accident happened in Florida.
My
You
family, my family's in Iowa.
okay?
Yeah, my family moved to Iowa because my sister's up here with her kids, and they want to be closer to her with the kids. I can't take care of myself right now. I can't dress my lower body because I can't get it over my legs,
Okay.
my underwear and stuff. My underwear and my shorts or pants. Otherwise, I would have stayed in Florida myself. That was originally the plan before the accident. I was going to stay in Florida. I had found a place. The guy ended up keeping the security deposit and the rent money, even though I ended up coming here. I wouldn't give it back, but I I yeah, the original plan was for me to stay down in Florida. All my friends are down there. You, you know,
Yeah.
I would
Okay.
have preferred to stay down there. The plan is for me to come back eventually. My sister eventually wants to make it down to Florida. She don't want to stay here. Trust
Okay.
me, there's what. Tell me what comes to mind when you think of Iowa.
Corn and
Corn. That's it. Corn. That's it.
that's crazy.
The
Um,
only the only teams we got are the Iowa Cubs and the Iowa Wild, the minor league affiliates for the Cubs and the Wild.
that's crazy.
Yeah,
Um, any Field of Dream baseball fields out there?
I haven't been yet. I want probably going to go next summer. I wanted to go this summer, but hi, Dylan. Hi, that's my
Aw.
niece.
Hi, how are you?
What is that? That's Caesar.
Um,
Oh,
so that's awesome, man. So
oh.
after the accident and you moved to Iowa, you you kind of just your whole life changed before you know it. But
Yeah.
your passion for sports has been since you were young, since you got to go see Jason Kidd and the Nets, and talk about your fandom in pro wrestling. I see you got to
Yeah,
meet the famous John Cena.
that's
Talk
my
about that
childhood
moment.
hero.
Oh,
That's my
nice.
childhood hero. I've never been starstruck meeting any athlete before.
That's so amazing. And was this before the accident?
Yes, this was before the accident.
Wow, that's amazing.
I've never been so starstruck. He was so. I was like, sorry, you're like my childhood hero.
That's
He's
amazing.
so humble. Like,
He's known to be one of those people to be very friendly with their fans and just does a lot of great things for their fans. And you hear a lot of great stories about John Cena. Talk about that moment you met with him.
yeah, it was very special. Like he took his time with everyone. I talked to him about his match with Edge, his matches with Edge. Um, he was awesome.
Nice. That's amazing. And talk a little bit about how he's turned into the villain, right? He's now considered
No,
the bad guy.
he just turned face on Friday night.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't been watching, so you
Yeah.
kind of got to catch me up on this.
Yeah. He
But
turned face on Friday saying two people abandoned him. Travis Scott and The Rock. Which makes
oh,
me think Cody's gonna turn.
wow, that's interesting. So, but kind of going back a little bit to when John Cena turned evil, how did that make you feel?
I thought it was about time. Like it's the one thing no one would have seen coming, you know? No one would have ever no one expected it. And I thought it was smart it was smarter for them to pull the trigger because no one was predicting it. No one. And I don't know how they kept it so secret without it getting out, you know?
Right? Now it just goes to show you the way that the wrestling business is now, and just the way Triple H is handling the WWE. It's definitely growing. Um, it kind of brings me back to when I was a big, huge Hulk Hogan fan back when I was growing up in the
That's
'90s,
when I
and
lived in when I lived in Florida, I kept putting that off to meet him, and I totally regret it because
yeah,
I know his marketing manager, and I regret putting that off to meet him.
mm,
I really wanted to meet him. Like that- I don't know why I kept putting it off. I should have met him.
yeah.
Never got.
Sometimes we could always live in regret, but it's something that like Wayne Gretzky always said, it's you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So it's I would have loved to have met him as well. Growing up being a huge WCW fan, WWE, WWF back in the day, and I was a big, huge Hulk Hogan fan. and watching him in the Rocky movie, getting to watch Mr. Nanny, the movies that he was in. That was one of my
Yeah,
all-time favorite movies. I've always wanted to be like him, or I would always dream and fantasize that he was actually my real dad in hindsight, even though he wasn't. He's just one of those guys that you love. His m- his m- his meaner on the TV set, or on in the rink, and just the way he carried himself.
yeah,
It was so great to watch, such a great entertainer. And it kind of what led to The Rock being who he is too, because
yeah,
not only did was Hulk Hogan a wrestler, an entertainer in the ring, but he was also a movie star. And that I think that kind of opened the platform of The Rock being who he is now, right? Being such a great movie star, being able to do both. And, you know, just goes to show you what a legend Hulk Hogan was. And for the world to end up losing someone like that last week is it's definitely heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking for the wrestling world. Um, and whether you agree with his political views or not, or his things off of the rink or out of the rink, you know, you got to respect him as a wrestler and as an
hmm
entertainer. And that's something that, you know, we all kind of do agree on. And he was such a great legend, such a great human being. Um, in the rink and in the entertainment business, and from a lot of people that have met him personally, saying that he was a really good person, and they had nothing but respect for him whenever they met him. So, you know, it's truly sad seeing him leave, but it's awesome to see all these old video clips of him wrestling, all these old movies, all these things that he used to do. And it's good that people are bringing the good side of him out.
yeah. I mean, he's the go to wrestling, like hands down. There's no one close to him. Without him, wrestling isn't where it's at today.
No.
Without Hulk Hogan.
Yeah,
Um,
and him, I think everything changed in the wrestling world when he wrestled Andre the Giant, right? It was that moment where he picked him up and he literally slammed him on the ground. And I think the whole wrestling world was just in awe. And he always brought the entertainment in. And I remember when he turned evil, I was so upset. Because I'm the person that likes the good guys. I never liked the bad guys. And when he turned evil, I kind of just like fell off of the wrestling world. I was mad. I didn't like him anymore. I ended up just following Sting and The Rock and just some other wrestlers, but my fandom kind of just slowly drifted off, and I became more of a hockey and football fan. So I haven't really been a huge wrestling fan since. But then eventually Hulk Hogan ended up going back to being the Hulkamania that he was. So that was good to see. Um,
if you get a chance, try his restaurant in Clearwater Beach.
okay,
If you ever go out to a Tampa Bay Lightning game, just a 20 minutes towards the 25 minutes towards the beach is his restaurant. It's really good. And
nice.
then he has his little store nearby.
Okay, so you
Next
living
door.
in the Tampa Bay area, Orlando area,
He
um,
ha- he does have a merchandise like memorabilia store in Orlando, and then he has a memorabilia store in Clearwater, right next to the restaurant.
nice. And you've been to both, right?
Yeah.
Nice,
Yep.
nice. Talk about your love for the New York Yankees. What got you being a Yankee fan besides being in New Jersey area?
Funny story. Uh, when the Yankees, before that Subway Series World Series, earlier that season, I used to be a Met fan.
Really? So you kind of jump on
Well,
and off a lot of.
well, no, I wasn't a Met fan. Let me rephrase that. My
Okay,
mom bought me a Mets jersey, but my neighbor, who are like my family friends, and I still talk to them. The dad His name is Brian, Big Brian Donahue, and then the son, his name is Brian Donahue. The dad got me for my political leanings. I think the dad for what I follow politically wise, and then for the I'm a Yankee and a Giant fan because of him. He got.
Okay.
I used to go over there and watch the Yankees World Series games, and then also the Giants in the Super Bowl. I went over there and watched too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're
So
kind of not
I'm
liking
a
the hat that I'm wearing, the jersey
no,
that I'm wearing. Okay.
but I think we both can agree the Eagles suck.
Okay. Yes. That okay. I'm glad we agree on something. And the
Yeah.
Panthers are the best. So
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's all. That's cool. And talk about I guess just growing up in sports. How has sports been such a positive impact in your life?
Say that again.
How has sports been a positive impact in your life?
It's been a huge impact. Sorry, as I look at John Cena take a crutch from Tyrese Halliburton to hit Cody Rhodes.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
So you're watching the
uh,
SummerSlam, huh? Okay,
the main event. Sorry.
that's okay.
Uh, um, yeah. So sports, while I've been in Iowa, has been a huge thing because I've been watching a lot of sports. It just sports. I just it's something I enjoy. Um, it's always piqued my interest, and I can't explain why. I enjoy watching it. I enjoy following it. I enjoy buying sports jerseys. If I sh- I don't have all my jerseys here. A lot of them are in my storage unit in Florida. But down there are like Panthers jerseys sticking out. There's one down there.
Mm.
Um, I have Marchand. I have a Huberto. I have a Bukestad. I have Barkov. I have two Barkovs, two Kachucks. Um,
There you are
I,
with the legend Barky.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, that's at the 20th anniversary. I'm gonna have to come down when we win it next year, and hopefully at Elbow Room get a picture with Kachuk if you can help make that happen.
Yeah, maybe we can definitely see what we can do for you on that. Um, that,
Yeah,
that that's awesome. Man, you both look really young in this picture.
I
Uh,
had I weighed a lot more then too.
what I think Barkov was in his early 20s then.
I think he was
Early
18 or
18.
19.
Okay, so this was his first or second year in the league. Okay. Wow, that's
Yeah,
crazy. You can kind of definitely see that. That's awesome. Um,
yeah.
talk about yeah, so being a Florida Panther fan this year and just seeing them win the cup and enjoying this year, how has that helped you um with your process of getting to your rehab, your everyday living of life? Like how has sports helped you?
That motivates me. Want to work at rehab. Want to work hard. It helps me motivate myself. Um, Even though I want to do that myself, it motivates me even a little extra. Um, Them being successful drives me more though. It make piques it piques my interest. Right now, the Yankees, I really haven't been watching them much. Will Judge out, and they're off. Honestly, I've been saying this for you're not supposed to say this as a fan of a team, but I've been saying this. The Yankees are never going to win a World Series with Aaron Boone as a manager.
Okay. So you're one of those. So you're in. A lot of my friends that are Yankee fans too have been saying the same thing that they don't necessarily like Aaron Boone
They,
as their manager.
he doesn't follow the hot pitcher. He goes too much into the analytics, which hurts. You don't know. Analytics doesn't tell you when someone's hot.
Right.
You know what I mean? It doesn't tell you. should I? I mean, yeah, it's good to use most of the time. But if someone's hot, you play that guy over that guy, or you stick with the hot hand over the analytics approach.
No, I totally agree, especially in pitching. If you have a pitcher in the bullpen who's been, in the hot side, you want to continue to keep using him rather than sometimes, some of these managers go too much into the analytics now where it's like, okay, so we're just going to put a righty versus a lefty, or I mean, a righty versus a righty or a lefty versus a lefty. And sometimes that doesn't really work. Um, you kind of got to go with your heart, your gut, and with what's working right then and there. So, um, it's all about, and it's good to use analytics, but also try to use your instincts and try to
And
use.
then to talk about analytics, if you're looking at it from my point, the Yankees played the Marlins the other night. They got this new pitcher, David Bed. I think it's Bedner. I think it's Bedner is his name. Is pronounced his name. And it's Bedner. Yeah, it's Bedner. He at Marlin Stadium. I believe they're playing at Lone Depot Stadium. His career ERA there, or over the last couple starts, or is his career ERA, is like plus seven something. So I don't know why they would use him at that stadium. I know you understand he's with a different team now, but his career ERA there is terrible. It's like plus seven something, and he was part of those 5 runs plus 5 runs that were given up to blow a 5 run lead to close the game. They lost 13-12.
And that's crazy because some players are just, there's certain areas where they don't play well, and you would think that they would lose if they're using analytics. That's the one time you want to use analytics, and it's like, hey, this guy's not playing well here. Let's kind of like not use him in this kind of spot, right?
Louis Severino, who used to pitch for the Yankees and Mets, he's with the A's now. He's like, I think it's like 4-12 at the AAA stadium that the A's are using as their home ballpark, and his numbers are like he has like a 2 point something ERA away from that stadium. He's
Wow,
way better on the road.
wow.
I don't know why they didn't try to trade him.
No, it's
I'm sure he wanted to be traded.
right.
I know they're
um,
going to Vegas, but I'd love to play in Vegas. Have you been to Vegas, Caesar?
no, I have not. That's
That
one
is
place I want to go to.
that's one trip you definitely got to take.
Have you
If
been?
you if you if you thought Club 11 was good, go to Vegas.
Okay, I'll definitely take your advice for sure.
Yeah. There's a
Uh,
lot. Every food place they got literally every food place you could think of, and then Gordon Ramsay has like 5 or 6 restaurants. David Blake, um, like all the Food Network guys have restaurants, and there's a bunch of other restaurants. I'll text you a bunch of restaurants to try if you ever go. Like, there's a bunch you got to try.
Definitely.
Steakhouses and different places. That's where if you go to Vegas, you got to bring at least like 2 grand for just food, like just to try around food places. It's a foodie place.
Everybody knows I love food. I love trying different
Yeah,
foods,
yeah,
trying new recipes and stuff like that. So there, I'll
yeah.
definitely keep that in mind, Dylan.
You
Definitely.
take that trip, I'll go at the same time as you.
Sounds good, man. I don't know.
Yeah,
We might cause some trouble there, but in a good way. In a good way. Um,
yeah,
so let's talk about this picture here. It's one of your
yeah,
good friends here, who was
yeah,
talk about that moment that he was a champion, and
yeah. Matt Riddle. He was United States champion for WWE during the pandemic when they were in the Thunderdome
how long
in
have you
Tropicana Stadium.
how long have you guys known each other?
20, it might have been, I don't know if it was 2015 or 2016. It was somewhere around there. I have to show you my first photo if I can find it real quick.
How did you guys meet?
We met at an Evolve show. He used to be actually with UFC. He
Oh, so
fought in UFC. He
he was
was
a
nine
UFC
and
fighter.
yes,
Okay.
he was a UFC fighter. Let me see if I can find it. He was a UFC fighter. He was fired by Dana White.
Oh, okay.
Um, for smoking weed.
Really?
Yeah,
It's crazy because you could do that everywhere now.
yeah, I
um,
know. I'm
um,
trying to find my first photo with him.
now does he still wrestle now?
Yeah,
Or
he wrestles on the indies, and they go all over the country. He actually, there's a company that wrestles that runs shows by you guys in Florida, Boca Raton Championship Wrestling. My friend runs that promotion. His name is Matt Mashler.
okay.
Um, I could see if he could possibly. I could ask. I'll talk to him and see what I can do. Possibly get you something.
No, it's
But
all cool.
they're doing. I think in November they're coming down that way. Well, they usually run Boca. I don't know how close you are to Boca or how easy it is for you to get to Boca.
It's about
They
an hour.
run. Um, Matt wrestles on those shows. Let me see real quick.
So, how has wrestling impacted your life? And you've always been a big wrestling fan. You're a big John Cena fan,
My
obviously.
parents, I used to do, when I was, my sister and brother are 3.5 years younger than me. I'm 30. They just turned 27th on July 20th.
Okay.
27 on July 20th. When I was 5 or 6, I used to do wrestling moves on them, which wasn't good. My parents blocked wrestling on the TV, so I wasn't able to watch for a couple of years. And then one day I found the channel unblocked. I guess we switched to Cablevision from Dish and it was unblocked. So I started watching again. The first time I ever watched was WrestleMania 20. The main event was Triple H versus Shawn Michaels versus Chris Benoit.
Wow.
Now that has to be one of the greatest matches of all time. Now Benoit, the whole thing with him and his death was tragic, but he has to be one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
No.
But John Cena, seeing him wrestle Big Show and him rap and stuff, I fell in love with the Doctor of Thugonomics. That was my favorite thing.
Oh,
You
that's
had
awesome.
you remember the Doctor of Thugonomics, right? A little bit.
A little bit, yeah, vaguely.
You had this white guy rapping. I mean, and back then it wasn't PG. It wasn't PG. So they let him say, So that's why I fell in love with John Cena, I think.
Okay.
Um, but and then his wrestling, and then I think that's why I fell in love with Cena.
He's a great
Just
entertainer, right? He's just
yeah.
uh, an amazing entertainer, and I believe this is his last hoorah before he retires.
It's a
And I
shame I'll never get to see it. I'm sure. I'm sure down the line, a couple years, they'll probably call him and he'll wrestle. Some big money offer will come for him to do a Saudi or something.
Yeah, and there's some wrestlers that have done that from time to time.
Shawn Michaels, yeah,
Yeah, Stone Cold has done it. What
yeah,
kind of want to talk into a little bit about what did you think of the whole Goldberg situation a couple weeks ago with his retirement and him coming out on TV saying he didn't like the way he was cut off? Do you have any input on that and what happened? I understand that Goldberg kind of blocked you on X. You want to explain to the
yeah.
fans here what happened there?
Oh, Mister, I can't wrestle. Okay, so for this, I also have to pull up a video to kind of show on my phone too, because I have to explain. So it all goes back to Matt too, because me and Matt used to. Matt was blocked by Goldberg
Okay. So they
on
didn't like
Twitter.
each other.
Matt wrote that Goldberg can't wrestle. Okay,
Okay.
so this was before he was with WWE. So, let me see if I pull it up. I'm gonna talk while you do this. So I wrote one day Goldberg confronted Matt backstage at a pay-per-view. Yeah, at a pay-per-view. It was WWE. What was it? SummerSlam, and I was there. It was Toronto, Canada. Matt texted me during the show, and it's like, "You'll never guess who I just ran into, bro. Goldberg." I'm like, "Oh God." Um, it, I couldn't wait to talk to him. It was like after the
Wow.
show, yeah. But Goldberg, they recorded this, so this is why I'm pulling it up. One sec. They cut it off, but he says, first of all, I'm not your bro. I could have been a long time ago, but you put a stop to that. He
Who
said,
said
and then
that?
and Goldberg, and then Matt goes, okay, bro, see you later, bro. And then he goes, I'm not your bro. Goldberg says that.
Wow. That's
So
funny.
anyway, the reason I'm blocked, Matt decided to start doing Goldberg's moves during his matches on NXT, a spear and then a jackhammer. So I retweet. NXT puts out a video. Matt's friends with the social media guy for NXT, and NXT decides to put um, the video of Matt doing the spear and the jackhammer out. So I tweeted at Goldberg, "Hey Goldberg, here's how you do a proper jackhammer," and he blocked me like a little baby.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you're officially blocked by Goldberg on X.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I'm guessing you're not a real big Goldberg fan.
No, no. The guy can't wrestle. I mean, he can't even do a knee bar. You should have seen his match against The Undertaker. He almost broke Undertaker's neck
Ooh,
at Saudi Arabia. You got to go back and watch that one. It's on the network if you get it. You probably find it on YouTube.
yeah, I'll
He
definitely have
dropped
to check that
Undertaker on
out.
his head. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's
Um.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I've been watching wrestling probably since 2000. I watched from in 2000 for a little bit. Then I watched from 2002 or 2003 on, and I've been watching it ever since.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. That's
Um.
awesome.
And then I've been watching hockey forever. I've been watching baseball's always been my passion.
Okay. And your baseball team,
Baseball's
obviously the Yankees, right?
yeah.
Is there
Baseball.
any other team that you follow in baseball, or is it just the Yankees, Yankees only?
I follow the Yankees. I wouldn't say follow, but the Pirates. I follow Paul Skeens just because I think he's going to be Yankee one day. That's going to be a bidding war. You know the Pirates aren't going to be able to pay him.
And they
He's
just
gonna
got rid of a few players on the trade deadline too. So
he's gonna be worth $500 million, and the Pirates and the Pirates aren't going to be able to pay that. They're going to trade him, and then it's going to be a bidding war between the Mets, Dodgers, and Yankees. Um,
like always,
yeah.
like
The,
always,
if the Marlins were smart, because I know you're probably a Marlins fan,
I'm actually a Braves fan.
really.
Atlanta Braves.
If the Marlins were smart, they would lock up some of these guys, Stowers and some of these other guys like the Braves did, and pay them a
Yeah.
couple hundred million right now. But they don't do that. And
No.
my friend JJ, who's a big wrestling fan and who I always talk wrestling with, you can follow him on Twitter. He works for the Wrestling Observer, which is a big. I don't know if you knew what the Wrestling Observer was back in the WCW days. Dave Meltzer ran it. He works
Okay.
for with him. His JJ Williams WON on Twitter. You follow him. Um, he is a big Marlins fan, and he said there was this Cuban billionaire who wanted to buy the Marlins that would have spent a lot of money, but they gave it to Sherman because of Jeter.
Mm.
So
And of course,
hopefully,
Jeter was the owner then of the Marlins, right?
yeah, Jeter left.
Yeah,
So maybe he'll sell it soon, hoping, seeing what these other teams are going for. Because
right.
I'd love to see the Marlins competitive like the Panthers, and because you see with the thing with South Florida sports and basically Florida teams in general,
Yep,
it's not like New York where they always show up. Florida teams don't usually sell out unless the teams are successful.
that's exactly right. Unless the teams are winning, the fans are not going to go to the games, and it's it's the demographics we have. There's so many people from all over the world, New York, Canada. It's just a variety of demographics, so you can kind of see where it is. And you know, Florida's been spoiled with the Miami Heat for so long. With Dwayne Wade, the Big Three, and you know that winning culture. Dolphins haven't been winning in years. The Marlins won a couple World Series, but after they win the World Series, they sell their team. So it's really good to see that the Florida Panthers not only do they continue winning, but they continue to build on winning that culture, and it's more consistent. And I think that's something that is good for hockey and the fans here in Florida.
And the Panthers, not only do they have the core locked up through like 2031, they have like 25 million in cap space next year,
Yeah,
and they only really need to re-sign Bobrovsky. And they could possibly, if they really wanted to, if Zito wanted to be spoiled and he hit the free agent market, to make a run at McDavid. Just saying,
ooh, wouldn't that be crazy?
McDavid. If you can't beat him, join him.
Right? I don't know how a lot of fans. I mean, I'm sure Panther fans will welcome him with open
If
arms.
if we were hated now, think about how hated we'll be then.
I know it's crazy, and especially with the salary cap going up every
And
year.
then, and then I saw the cap room the year after. It's going up like another 10 to 15 million after that. We'll have like it says we have 30 million after that, 30
It's
to 40
crazy.
million.
So it's amazing how it all worked out for the Florida Panthers, locking up Matthew Kachuk, locking up Barkov, locking up now Ekblad, Bennett before the salary cap went up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which allows us to get even more players in the next coming years. So that's going to be very exciting.
And
Um,
and also baseball is probably going to have a lockout after this next season because
right.
the owners want a salary cap and the players are saying no way.
The players will never. It, as much as I would want a salary cap, I don't think the players will ever let that happen.
No, Bryce Harper told Manfred, "F you."
Yeah. So if there is a lockout, it could be a long term lockout. This could be the biggest lockout in sports history.
Mm-hmm. So you're just going to have hockey pretty much.
Yeah, hockey and basketball, right?
I
And
don't I don't see anyone beating the I don't see anyone beating the Panther. I mean the the club that can make the next run after the Panthers. Um, Probably the Canadians.
the Canadians are young. They remind me of the Panthers when they started getting young,
Yeah,
drafting the Barkovs, the Hubertos, and
they
the
need a goalie.
Ekblads. Yeah, yeah. And although Martin Bolt is getting better, but he's not that goalie that they can get him over to the edge, right? To get him into the playoffs and win playoff
Mhm.
games. I think once they get a goaltender, they're going to be pretty dangerous this year too. I see
Mhm.
them making the playoffs again, and possibly even being a top three team. I I
Mhm.
I don't. I wouldn't put it past them either. Um, but yeah, it's going to be an interesting year for hockey. I'm excited.
Yeah.
We're about 69 days away or something like that, or 68.
kind of
somewhere around there. 65.
if there's playoffs, I'm gonna try to come down for the whole playoffs. I hope they sell like a playoff package because I'm gonna try to buy it.
Yeah, it's definitely a fun time, and playoffs are the most exciting times of the year, especially in hockey. There is nothing like playoff hockey compared to regular season and playoffs. It's that much
Yeah.
faster. It's that
When
much
I
more
was
intense.
when I was a season seat owner, they didn't make the playoffs. So,
No, it was disappointing times, but
yeah.
it's amazing how far they've come along.
I
Kudos
just
to Benny
did you
Viola.
did you ever find out why they fired Gallant the year after, not even full way in the season after because he they had the best year ever for their franchise and they fired him after a bad start, which didn't make sense.
Yeah, I don't think anybody really knows what happened in that situation or why Gallant was fired. Dale Talon was going into that trying to find a way to get into the playoffs again. Just there's just some stuff that was happening in the back office that didn't really make any sense. Tom Rowe was then the general manager, and then here comes Dale Talon again being the general manager. So it was like back and forth. A little bit of disgruntled there in the front office. But I think once Bill Zito came into being the general manager, Bill Zito did a great job of hiring the people in the right situations and letting them do their jobs, right? Let the pro scouts be the pro scouts. Let the amateur scouts be amateur scouts. Let me go find players that'll fit Paul Maurice's system. So let's find cultural players. And like Jessica Blaylock when she came on, she made a great point. Getting Patrick Hornquist to the Florida Panthers to change the culture, to change the way the team played, because he was the reason why the whole culture started to change. He hated losing. He hated losing more than he liked winning. And that was the start of everything. And then Bill Zito just kept getting players to fit into that culture.
Mhm.
Um, they won the President's Trophy with Burnett, but that wasn't good enough because they lost
Yeah.
the second round in the playoffs to Tampa Bay. What did we need to get over that hump? What did we need to get beat Tampa to beat there? Of course, let's
A
get none
star.
other a superstar, right? Not only a superstar that could just score points, but somebody who was gritty, could be in front of the net, an agitator, and for him to have the cojones to trade your best player, who ended up scoring the most points on the team, for another good superstar, and Matthew Kachuk just speaks volumes of how Bill Zito runs the franchise, and this
Yeah.
team has been just unbelievable. He continues to keep pushing the right buttons, and it's fun to see. It's fun to see.
He
Um,
definitely earned his name up in the rafters, Bill Zito.
yes, I 100% agree. And for the life of me, I will never understand how he hasn't won the General Manager of the Year. It's
That was
beyond
BS.
it's
That was
beyond
BS.
mind-boggling. It's crazy. But again, he says he doesn't care. All he cares is lifting up the Stanley Cup at the end of the year.
I wonder
That's
who
all
he's
that
going to
matters.
add on LTIR this time.
It's gonna be crazy. There's rumors swirling that it might be Matthew Kachuk from Elliot Friedman. It seems like that's the most likely scenario,
Yeah.
which
I wonder who
allows
he'll
us.
add.
Well, I don't think they'll be adding anybody just because they need to be under the cap anyways.
Uh,
It looks like Evan Rodriguez would stay then if that ends up happening. So it'll keep Evan Rodriguez still with the Panthers. So,
uh,
but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But Dylan, man, it was such an awesome time talking to you and getting to know you and your
yeah.
story. Is there anything you want to tell the folks here about you, where they can follow you, and any
Yeah.
encouragement or advice?
You can follow me on, let me just double check my Twitter. Well, my ex is Dylan, Dylans, Kaplan, Kaplan.
And I'll
And
definitely. All right. So thank you, Dylan. It was such a pleasure speaking to you, and thank you for telling us your story. You're truly inspiring. Keep fighting to being the best that you can, and I know that you'll be walking in no time. And who knows? Whenever you come to Florida, just let me know. We'll catch a game together and watch some hockey and enjoy the time here. So um,
sounds good.
that'd be awesome. And like I always say, guys, one shift at a time, one period at a time, one game at a time. Let's go, Cats.